Alright guys, BLM here, back with a new video, and in this video I'm back with another Survivor casting video, where obviously throughout Survivor history we've had a lot of newbie themes that were used for initial tribe divisions, and here I want to start doing all-star versions of those lists, where here we'll be starting that off with Survivor All-Stars, Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. So here we will have 18 players on this cast, obviously 3 tribes of 6, which through the course of making this list, I did go through numerous iterations of it. However, I ended up landing on essentially making this a second chance cast as well, especially considering there were only like a couple returnees even on the initial list. But essentially through that, and obviously fitting in line with the Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty theme, and also keeping genders equal, accommodating for the diversity mandate, while also trying to keep the tribes somewhat equal in terms of physical strength, this ended up being a really strange list to put together. But with that, obviously we have 3 tribes to run through. Now I won't be going through each season one by one, as really at the end of the day also, this cast ended up being comprised of players from CAGRYAN on. No player that originally played before CAGRYAN ended up making the list here. Though to be fair, not many of them were like true considerations for the actual list, especially when adding in the second chance aspect of it, where before that, I mean, I did consider the likes of Eliza or Sari for the Brains tribe. For the Brawn tribe, Terry Dietz was one that was in the running for a while, especially considering he's on the older side of things at this point, to where I felt like putting him on the Brawn tribe would have kind of equaled things out a little bit. But again, I decided to go with the second chance element of it, and he didn't really get a full second chance, but still, I decided to leave him off. Also considered someone like an Aussie, though I felt like he was probably too overpowered for this cast. Stephanie LaGrossa was someone that was in the running for a while, though cut her off when I decided to go second chance, and also to help with the diversity mandate. For the Beauty tribe, really only Malcolm was in consideration that didn't make it on, and again, that was due to the limitations of the rules. So really not many pre-CAGRYAN people were really in consideration for this list. But with that, let's run through seasons from CAGRYAN on, talking about who ended up making the cut. And CAGRYAN was obviously the season that started off this overall theme, and because I did want to have some representatives from that season, and at the end of the day, what ended up happening with this list, I ended up having at least one person on each tribe that came from an original Brains versus Beauty versus Brawn season. However, with CAGRYAN, the difficult thing is that, again, keeping the second chance, so many of the bigger names from this cast have already come back. So like a Spencer, a Cass, Tasha was someone that was actually on the cast for a while until I made this last second change. Obviously, you got like Woo, Sarah Lacina, Alexis Maxwell, as I know someone that has been in the running for a while but didn't make it on to the cast. But 2 people from CAGRYAN did make it on. Probably not the 2 most obvious picks here. However, on the original Brains tribe, I did go with Jatia, I guess. Which, I mean, Jatia is like this really fun one-time character. I don't know if I need to see Jatia play again. However, due to all the limitations here and all the different rules and everything, I ended up putting Jatia here, especially once Tasha got kicked off the cast. Now, I will say, something I didn't love about the addition of Jatia is I do feel like it made the Brains tribe as a whole a bit weaker, to where, like, obviously Jatia is not known for being great at challenges. I feel like that is a worry here in terms of balancing of the tribes, where I think the Brains tribe is pretty clearly the weakest tribe physically of the 3. But again, I did want to keep in line with all these rules, so I did go Jatia here. And then for the Beauty tribe, the person I did put on was someone that I was surprised made it on to the list, but it's someone that, again, I personally would like to see back. I don't know how much production is likely to bring this person back. However, for a season like this, in a season where I'm bringing back someone from a previous Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty season anyway, I did put Bryce on the cast. And Bryce, again, like, I don't know how likely it is that he would actually be asked back, but I did feel like just everything worked in his favor for making the cast here. I mean, one, obviously he helps with the diversity mandate. He's also from an original season, while also helping out with these like parallels between tribes in terms of physical strength that kind of made him an easy pick here, even though, again, I just don't know how likely he would be to actually be brought back, though I kind of foregoed that for this actual list here. Now, I actually did not end up putting anyone from San Juan del Sur on the cast, where, again, due to the limitations, someone like a Natalie and a Kelly Wentworth weren't in consideration here. But with that, it takes us to Survivor Worlds Apart, where here I did have a few considerations. I mean, Mike Holloway was in consideration for the original Brawn tribe, though again, I left them off due to balancing reasons. I did also consider So Kim, just because like production seems to really want to bring back So Kim for some reason. So, and she was in consideration, didn't make it on, but the person that did make it on from this cast is for the Brains tribe, and that person is Carolyn Rivera, who, I mean, at the time of Game Changers, Jeff Rope said that next All-Star season, you're on. And like, do I believe that at this point? No. But I still wouldn't mind to see Carolyn back. And again, production was very high on her at one point, to where I was like, again, makes an easy person to put on the list. I think she fits the Brain tribe pretty well. I mean, being this white collar professional as she was in Worlds Apart, which, I mean, I do think the white collar is kind of parallel with the Brain tribe to a degree. So I was like, yeah, Carolyn makes an easy pick here. Next up for Kaoh Rong, and I really wanted to try to get more Kaoh Rong people on this cast, however it really just did not end up working out. Only one person from Kaoh Rong ended up making it here, where again, through my second chance limitations, I did take out Aubrey and Debbie, who to be honest wouldn't have made the cut anyway, but again, we're at least there. Ty was someone I greatly considered for a beauty tribe, though he ended up being cut due to the second chance theme, and really it is him being cut that caused Bryce to be on the cast. Obviously, Michelle couldn't be on due to the limitations. I did consider Julia, but she didn't make it on. But the person that did make it on is from the original Brawn tribe, and here we do have Kyle Jason. Now, Kyle Jason was essentially the last person to make it on, and the reason why he made it on was essentially because no one else from Kaoh Rong made it on. So I was like, well, I gotta have somebody. And again, it was between Kyle Jason and Julia, and I just felt like the Brawn tribe as a whole was just very tough to cast, especially trying to make it not too overpowered. I feel like Kyle Jason, while he is still a strong guy, I feel like at least wasn't like an Ozzy or a Brad Culpepper or like one of these people that like just dominates in immunity challenges. So I felt like Kyle Jason was a good enough compromise, and I personally wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Jason play again. I mean, while he was this big villain the first time around, I did feel like he made for good TV at least. So again, he made my cut here. Next up for Millennials versus Gen X, where here we also have one person making the cut. However, again, people in consideration. Again, Adam Klein was in consideration for the Brains tribe, though, again, limited due to theme. I considered Michaela for the Brawn tribe, and I feel like she actually would have been a pretty good pick for it. But again, the second chance limitations kicked her off. Figgy was in consideration, probably for the Beauty tribe, and she was kind of in this pool of a lot of women fighting for the same spot that I decided to give to someone else. But the person I did put on the cast is Jay, and I did put him on the Beauty tribe here. Now, I think you could debate Beauty or Brawn. However, really, I don't feel like Jay is the person that like you're looking at as this big challenge beast necessarily. Though I think he kind of fits into this golden boy sort of role. I feel like that's good enough for the Beauty tribe. Again, Jay's the type of person that I'm surprised we haven't seen him back just as is. Like, obviously he's been on the challenge, though, with how open he wants to play Survivor again, and also how openly production seemed to love him at the time. I'm surprised we haven't seen him play again, though I do think if we get a full-blown all-star season, they do cast back to the time of Millennials vs. Gen X. I would expect Jay to be there. So yeah, I did feel like he was a decent pick here. Next up for HHH, and here I put one person on the cast, but definitely not the person I anticipated being on this cast coming into it. Now, some big considerations were Chrissy, who I really wanted to put on the cast on the Brains tribe. However, for me, it was Chrissy or Carolyn, and straight up Carolyn made it on because she fits the diversity mandate better, while obviously Chrissy doesn't. So again, had to leave Chrissy off. Also considered Lauren Rimmer for the Brawn tribe, where she definitely was in consideration there, though I also just don't know how likely of a returnee she is nowadays, where I feel like production's kind of forgotten about her if I were to guess. So, and decided to leave her off. For Beauty, I did consider Cole Metters because he seems to be everywhere at this point, but again, I just don't know how likely he is to be on an all-star season. Also considered Allie Elliott, who was someone I really wanted to make it onto the cast. However, I decided to go a different route, largely due to trying to even out the tribes in terms of physical strength. So a person I put on from HHH ends up being Desi, who is on the Beauty tribe, which, again, this feels random to me. I didn't expect to put Desi on this cast. Again, she fits the Beauty tribe pretty well. She was a pageant girl. She seems willing to play again, especially considering the fact she just did the challenge, and she is a really strong physical competitor, which is the main reason she is on this cast. Again, I did want to try to balance out the tribes, and I feel like Desi definitely boosted the Beauty tribe here, which overall, I think the balancing of the Beauty tribe, I think I ended up doing pretty well, even though, again, the Brawn tribe kind of fell apart, but we'll talk about it. But in reality, it's like, I don't know how likely Desi actually is to play Survivor again, which was the big thing for me. It's like, I don't know how likely production is to actually ask her back, though I decided, due to how many different limitations I was juggling around, I decided, screw it, Desi does feel like a decent enough pick here. Now, no one from Ghost Island ended up making the list here. Again, there were some considerations. Someone like a Kellen for Brain's tribe, I think would have been a decent pick. It's someone like a Dominic, who really I think could have fit in either Brain or Brawn, though he didn't make it on. Wendell was someone I considered really could be on really any of the 3 tribes. Well, he didn't make it on. I did consider Donathan for beauty, and Donathan for a while was on the list as well. However, I feel like Donathan, again, as a whole, obviously wasn't one of the stronger physical competitors, to where, again, I tried to balance out the beauty tribe as well as possible, to where because of that ended up cutting Donathan. But also I did consider someone like a Michael Yerger, who probably would have ended up on the beauty tribe, though again, I went with Jay over him, and again, Jay fits the diversity mandate better. But with that, let's move on to Millennials vs. Gen X, where 2 people from this cast ended up making it on. But again, considerations that didn't, I did consider someone like a Gabby, who probably would have been on the Brains tribe, though again, didn't make the cut. Natalie Cole would have been fun to have. Though again, I think in terms of the Brains tribe, it's already not doing great physically, and I feel like Natalie Cole wouldn't really help that much with that. I did consider Davey, however, I really just didn't know where to place Davey, and really that ends up being the case with a lot of people moving forward. There being like some people that, again, I think would have been decent picks here. I just feel like if we're actually limiting it to Brains, Brawn, Beauty, I just don't know which one Davey like fully fits into. So because he didn't make it the cut, Dan Rengering was someone that probably would have been on the beauty tribe. They were kind of like a Michael Yerger. It's like I went with Jay over him. But the people that I did put on the cast, the first one here being someone that I'm less confident in. However, I did decide to put this person on. That person is Angelina. And again, I would love to see Angelina play again. Like she's someone that obviously production would want to see play again. And I do think out of the 3 tribes here, she kind of fits the Brains tribe the best, being, I believe, a financial consultant at the time. However, Angelina is not the greatest in challenges, and truth be told, that is a major reason why I'm a bit rockier on this choice. However, again, also Angelina does help with the diversity mandate, to where, again, there were just so many difficult things to juggle around here, where I think you can definitely tell, like, the struggles that production is going to have in terms of putting together a themed returnee season like this. But again, it kind of got to the point where I was just like, screw it. Who cares about the balancing of the Brains tribe in terms of physical strength at this point? So because Angelina made it on. Also, the other person that made it on is like a no-brainer. I think if they do Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty, there's no way this person's not on. This is kind of the perfect brain to put on the cast, and that is Christian. And Christian feels like a type of person that they would explicitly make this type of all-star season to put Christian on the season. It's like, how do you not have Christian as someone on the Brains tribe? It really just feels like an obvious pick there. Next up for Edge of Extinction, I will say I'm surprised I put 2 people from Edge of Extinction on this cast. Now again, there were some considerations, someone like Ron Clark, a War Dog, I think both of which would have been consideration for Brains, but didn't make it on. Chris Underwood was someone I considered probably for the Beauty tribe, though again, kind of fighting for the same spot as Jay. But the people that made it on, and this one was probably the pick that I felt the most unsure about on this entire list, with this person not really feeling like they should be on the Brawn tribe. However, again, I tried to balance out the tribes to a degree, and I feel like there's still at least an argument. So on the Brawn tribe, I did put Rick Devens. And what is there connecting Rick Devens to Brawn? I don't know. He won some challenges, I guess. But again, there's a couple things going into this. One, obviously, production would want to see Rick Devens back. And again, there is this excuse to put him on Brawn because he did win a decent amount of challenges. However, really the real reason he's on the list here is because he is not the most athletic guy of the bunch. I think he is probably on paper at least one of the weaker people on the Brawn tribe here. But again, I did want to try to even things out a bit, but also it's like I don't think he necessarily fits into Brains and Beauty that well either. I mean, like, he used to be a news reporter. That doesn't really lead into either of those distinctions. But also I think he kind of like shakes things up on the Brawn tribe here, where he kind of makes it so that there's not this like very obvious group that comes together in the original Brawn tribe. So once all things are said and done, I think you can very much see this very cliquey group come together on the Brawn tribe, and I feel like Rick Devens kind of throws a spanner into that, to where he doesn't really fit in with that and could probably bond with the people on the outside. So I was like, okay, you know what, screw it, let's put Rick Devens on. But now another person from this cast made it on, this person on the Beauty tribe, and again, this is the person that I think was fighting for a lot of other people at the same spot. However, I decided to go with Lauren O'Connell, and again, she kind of fills the more like traditional Beauty casting choice here of this younger, attractive bikini girl, though really it's like I think Lauren could have also been on the Brawn tribe. I mean, she was a soccer player, but also that's kind of why she's here. Again, I think she helps with the physicality of the original Beauty tribe to where she helps balance things out a bit. Again, that's kind of why I went with Lauren O'Connell here over someone like an Allie, over someone like a Figgy, over an Alexis Maxwell. I think they were all kind of fighting for the same spot here. However, I feel like Lauren's physicality was really what won her a spot in the cast here. Now that we're moving on to IOI, and there's one person from this cast that made it on. Now again, there were some considerations. I did consider Karishma for the Brains tribe, and it would have been a decent pick there, though again, didn't really make it on. I considered both Janet and Elaine for the Brawn tribe, both of which could have been pretty decent picks. I think probably Janet would have fit in with the Brawn theme a bit more, considering she is a lifeguard. I feel like that's kind of brawny, to where Elaine is a factory worker, and again, that's kind of more so blue collar than Brawn, but I feel like, again, like I would have probably snuck it in there, but really they're both in deep consideration, especially to try to balance out the tribes, though the issue with them is the fact that obviously trying to keep with the diversity mandate, they didn't really fit into that, so I ended up cutting them. Lauren Ashley Beck was also in consideration, but another one that like I didn't know where exactly to put her, but the person that did make the cast here on the Brawn tribe is Nora, who really ends up feeling like a perfect fit for the Brawn tribe. Where I did have reservations about casting her here, particularly in the fact that, again, I think she kind of makes the Brawn tribe a bit too strong, while I was kind of hoping that the Nora spot here would be filled with, again, someone like a Janet or an Elaine, who isn't this more openly, outwardly, super physical person, but also like the fit of the diversity mandate and also keep the second chance theme. It's like really all these things really have been amounting to Nora making the cut here. And again, I would like to see Nora play again. I think it would be humorous to see how it goes, but it definitely wasn't this locked in pick here. And with that, now we're on to the new era, where most of these seasons have two people from them. However, the only one that doesn't is Survivor 41, where only one person from Survivor 41 made it on. And it's not the person I thought was going to make it on. Where the people in consideration, I very much considered Ricard. However, I just did not know where to put him. I think he could fit in Brain. I think he'd probably fit in Beauty. Even Brawn, I mean, won challenges. Like, I mean, he could really fit anywhere. And at a point, he was on the Brains tribe, though. Did end up leaving him off. Just because, like, I don't feel like he's super solidified in any of these themes. Also considered Shan, who is in the same ballpark. Again, I just don't know where she fits. Brain, Brawn, Beauty. To me, it's not super obvious to where, like, again, I kind of left it off because of that. Also greatly considered Evie, who is in consideration for the Brains tribe, though ended up leaving them off. Obviously, you got someone like a Danny, who would have been a good pick for the Brawn tribe, though again, probably a bit too overpowered. So the person I put on from Survivor 41 ends up being on the Brains tribe, and this person is Xander. And again, not the person I expected to put on, as again, I'm not a massive Xander fan. Like, I mean, he's fine, but like, he's not someone that I necessarily need to see back again, though. I think when we're looking at this format and trying to give the Brains a bit more physical strength, I do feel like Xander is the easy pick here. Again, he is an app developer. He at least has this more like tech based job. He's also young and athletic, and it's like, again, I'm trying to help out the Brains tribe here. Now, if I knew it would be kind of the more of a train wrecky tribe that ended up being, would I put him on? Probably not. I probably just would have fully leaned into the train wrecky nature. Though again, I was taking this seriously at the beginning until everything got messed up at the end, to where that's largely why Xander is here, to kind of help with the physical strength on the Brain tribe. Next up for 42, and both the people I ended up picking for this tribe ended up being on the Brawn tribe. However, again, there were other considerations. Someone like an Omer was in consideration for the Brains tribe, along with Hai, and Hai was actually someone that was on the cast for a while to try to boost the Brains' physicality. However, I just felt like there were some other bigger locks on the board to where it could have been him swapped out for Xander, but then it's still leaving the Brains tribe severely underpowered, so just decided to leave him off. Marianne was in consideration before me deciding to go with the second chance theme, where she probably would have landed on the Beauty tribe. They're having this like really lively personality. Tori was someone that was in consideration as a pageant girl for the Beauty tribe, though she didn't make the cut. Lindsay was in consideration for the Brawn tribe and didn't make the cut. Mike was someone that I really wanted to put on the cast, again, to help with the physicality nature of it, where like obviously Mike's not bad in challenges, but he is on the older side of things, where like when I had to cut Terry Dietz, Mike was the initial replacement. However, I felt like there were two bigger locks that were bronze from the 42 cast, where like putting Mike on here would have been overboard. It would have been 3 people on the Brawn tribe. Like, that's a bit too much. So because that, the 2 people I did put on is the first person is, again, one of the bigger locks on the board. I think if you're having a Brawn season, this is the person you cast. To where, again, it's debatable how much the online community really wants to see this person again. However, I do feel like in terms of production, they want to see him back, and he perfectly fits the theme. That's Jonathan. Again, I think Jonathan's the shoe-in for this cast. I think literally if they were to do a season like this, I think Jonathan and Christian would be two of the biggest names on the board, to where they would be like the biggest promoted players, of Christian embodying the brains and Jonathan embodying the brawn. So again, I feel like Jonathan was an easy pick. The other person I picked, again, another person that I get the sense the production really loves. I do think they would bring her back. That person is Drea. Again, Drea is obviously this really physical person. Someone that production loves. Love that she found advantages all the time and seemed to just love how she played. Again, I felt like kind of made it easier to put Drea on, especially with the need for diversity. So that took out Lindsay. So again, I felt like Drea was an easy pick here. Next up for 43, and ended up putting two people from 43 on the list. In considerations here, I did consider Owen, though I really just didn't know what to do with him, as I think he's another one that could kind of fit anywhere. However, just left him off. Same thing goes to Carla. I really didn't know where to put Carla, so I just left her off. Also considered Ellie, who probably would have been on the Brains tribe, though didn't quite make the cut. Considered Cody, though again, also just didn't know exactly where he would land. Cassidy is someone that probably would have been on the Beauty tribe, though again, fought the spot of Lauren O'Connell, and I think I just went with Lauren O'Connell due to more blatant physical strength. So people I did put on here, again, first one of the bigger locks on the board, I did put Jesse on, and I did put him on the Brains tribe. And again, this is the issue with the Brains tribe, where because you have Jesse, who's like a middling competitor, we're also having Christian, who's again maybe not the best physical competitor in the world, Jatia, who is maybe not the best physical competitor in the world, Angelina also, who is maybe not the best physical competitor in the world. Again, it definitely leaves the Brains tribe very underpowered. However, I feel like, again, like, how are you not putting Jesse on this cast? Again, he is a very likely returnee. He is propped up on the show as his PhD student. He just feels like an easy pick here for the Brain tribe, and also helps with the diversity mandate. And when taking that out, it's like, I don't know who you replace him with that is that much better than him physically. Where it's like, I mean, yeah, you do have like the likes of a Ricard, but even then Ricard doesn't really fit the theme that well. You have, again, High probably would have been the next best pick, but it's like, again, is High that much better in challenges than Jesse? I don't think so. I just really didn't see another blatant option but on the board here, and because I did end up still just saying screw it and putting Jesse on, even though it does leave the tribe pretty underpowered. Also, the other person I picked here is on the Brawn tribe, and that person is Noelle. And again, Noelle's kind of a perfect pick for the Brawn tribe here. Someone that is obviously a Paralympian, someone that very much feels like she fits the Brawn tribe, and someone that, again, you could tell that production liked. Now, I don't think she's the most likely returning on the board from 43. I think like the likes of Carla, Cody, like there's definitely like other people that are more likely to be brought back. However, I think when looking at the theme, Noelle just perfectly fits the Brawn tribe here, while also allowing the tribe to remain relatively balanced enough here to where I felt like it was a decent enough pick. And finally, we have Survivor 44, where here we did have some considerations from the likes of Matt and Franny for the Brain tribe, though neither of them made the cut. Danny probably would have been consideration for the Brawn tribe, though again, I went with Jonathan over him. Carson would have been consideration, though again, didn't really help with the diversity mandate and physical strength. Josh is someone that I didn't really need back. However, I did feel like he fit well enough with the Brain tribe, and also was a very physical guy that could have been on the Brain tribe while also helping the diversity mandate. So again, he was deeply in consideration, despite the fact that I don't really need to see him back, and he didn't make the cut. Jam Jam obviously would have been consideration for Beauty, though he couldn't be on. However, two people ended up making it from 44, both people on the Beauty tribe. The first one being obviously a very likely returning here, and that is Carolyn. And again, Carolyn I put on the Beauty tribe here. One, because like, again, I don't know if she really fits Brain or Brawn particularly well, but also because, again, like Jeff Probst in Explanations for Brains for Beauty Brawn talked a lot about inner beauty, and I could definitely see that with Carolyn, like her being this very lively personality, that I feel like that would be enough for her to be on the Beauty tribe here, especially considering how likely a returning she is. And the other person I put on here, again, probably would have been Jam Jam if he could, but instead it is Matthew, who again I think kind of fit a similar role, obviously being these barbers, fun energy, wanted to play the game. But again, considering Matthew is the one that's eligible here, he made the cut, and also obviously he has a great second chance story. However, again, like he actually was a pretty last second addition to this list here. It was actually going to be Tyan Donathan on this list instead of Bryce and Matthew. However, after the decision to do the second chance theme, and also the decision to try to make the tribe a little bit more physical, I did decide to go with Matthew, who I do think is still a solid pick here as well. But there we go. I mean, that's my cast for All-Star Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. On the Brain tribe, I do have Jatia Taylor, Carolyn Rivera, Angelina Keeley, Christian Hubicki, Xander Hastings, and Jesse Lopez. On the Brawn tribe, I do have Kyle Jason, Rick Devins, Nora, Jonathan Young, Drea Wheeler, and Noel Lambert. And from the Beauty tribe, I do have Bryce Isaiah, Jay Starrett, Desi Williams, Lauren O'Connell, Carolyn Weiger, and Matthew. So there we go. I mean, that's my casting video for All-Star Brains vs. Brawn vs. Beauty. Now moving forward, again, I would like to continue on with these sort of themes, particularly Worlds Apart, HHH, and David vs. Goliath. I think those are probably the next few themes to do. Also, while making this video, though, I did also think of a new video idea that I would like to do, and that's essentially recasting Survivor CAGRYAN if it was All-Stars. Essentially still using the Brains vs. Brawn vs. Beauty theme, however doing it at the time of Survivor CAGRYAN, which obviously is very different from this list, as this list is literally all people from CAGRYAN on. So I feel like that could be an interesting video to do down the road as well. But for now, that's the video. Thank you for watching.